You're listening to the Zone Coverage Football Show, where opinions, passion, and pride are always on the line. Live from Tees Towers, here's your host, Mark Tees.
Hello. Welcome along to Pigskin Week number 3. Mark Tees here at the Zone Coverage Football Show, live from good old Tees Towers. Episode number 8 already. It is what? Sunday, the 21st of September already. 3 weeks down. That brings a tear to my eye because it's 3 less weeks I've got to enjoy the fantastic world that is pigskin. But never mind. Let's just embrace week 3 and enjoy it for what it's been. And hopefully this news that we've had over the past 7 to 10 days sort of dies down and we can concentrate on some football, because let's be honest, the first 2 weeks of football have been absolutely amazing. But before we get into the world of pigskin, do a bit of housekeeping top of the show, and do hope everyone as well wherever you may be, and thanks for joining me today. Fingers crossed you are doing that via the good old TuneIn and Spreaker apps. I mentioned this last week, the Spreaker app. If you're listening via that, there's a little sort of chat service on there. And you can send me whatever questions, messages, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever floats your boat really. So feel free to hit me up on that. Failing that, we'll be checking in on the good old Twitter feed as we go. That is Zone Coverage FS. We do have a Facebook page, so I've linked the Twitter to the Facebook page now. So you'll just get the same sort of nonsense everywhere, basically. Everywhere where social media is, you should find us. If you want to listen back, you're busy, whatever, iTunes, Stitcher are the best places for that. And we had a review on good old iTunes. I can't find it. I will get to that later on, as I'm sure some sound effects will cover me. Oh, excuse me, for a few seconds while I find that. So that is that. Anything else, really? You want the links to everything I've just mentioned, go to the hub, the home page, whatever you want to call it. That is, oh my God, draws a blank. What is that now? That is www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com. Wow. One last thing. You can email the show. Email me, zonecoverage@mail.com. That should be everything out the way now. TuneIn, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, website, email, Facebook, Twitter, Zone Coverage FS. The number for the show I shall give out in a moment. And for those asking, yes, I am over the disappointment and heartbreak that was my beloved New York Jets last week. Lesson for everyone, really. I was tweeting out saying, can't contain my excitement. Don't become a big head on Twitter before the game's finished. I had to sort of recant a tweet later on. I was slowly sneaking off Twitter to bed and stuff. Made a bit of an idiot of myself, but hey ho, what's new, eh? Right then, what do we have today? Busy show. The hot route, I'm just looking at my notes, is blank, so I'm just going to spew out something off the top of my bonds and And we have the NFL news, mainly injuries and stuff over this past week. Last Sunday was just horrendous, especially if you are a player of the fantasy football. And speaking of fantasy football, we will have Martin Forrester on from Dundee NFL and the Fourth Down and Out podcast. He will be joining me at 5 for the Fantasy 5 at 5 segment. So we got that, the news, fantasy football. What else do we have? The Love Line feature. A couple of guys I'll be giving some love and praise to there. I'll run down the fixtures, tell you who's on the TV, what channel, what time, and so on and so on. Have a few mentions, a few shout-outs to everyone that's been spreading the word over the course of the last 7 days. The not-so-great 8 feature returns. If you are new to the show, first of all, welcome aboard. Where have you been? We're now 8 weeks in. What is that? I nearly swore then. 2 weeks running we've had F-bombs and S-bombs. We're trying to avoid that. There's something crazy going on. Oh, there's a fire engine going round the roundabout. One for the ladies there, so every box ticked then. Right, where was I? Yeah, the not-so-great 8 feature is basically power rankings. Everyone does them. You know how that goes now. I like to flip those on their head. So rather than have the greatest team ever to grace the planet ever, I have the absolute biggest pile of cow dung ever. So I will reel off the team. Mine's gone. Yeah, the team that I feel is propping up that division at the bottom. 8 divisions, 8 teams, the not so great 8. pure genius, my end, pretty much like the Fantasy 5 at 5. But that's enough patting on the back and enough praise for me. I do feel that iTunes review may have gone to the head. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So right then, let's set the benchmark. Not the benchmark, the question of the day, the hot route. Before I do that, where's my sounder gone now? I'm all over the place today. Fantastic start, my end. Right, where are we? Here we go.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
Right then, this week's hot route. I don't really know what to go with. There was nothing that sort of jumped out of me over this past week, to be honest. It's not been done to death. There's all this sort of nonsense. I know Robbie James, he sent me something regarding was last week the worst week in NFL history. I feel we sort of covered that the week before when I had a bit of a moan about the drugs policy and Roger Goodell. Should he go? Is he on the hot seat? I just... As much as that's like a main controversial topic at the moment, I sort of feel that was covered and it was sort of done everywhere. I want to sort of like just embrace and enjoy the football, because I feel that over these last 2 weeks there's been a lot that's just sort of been not swept under the carpet, so to say, but it's been overshadowed by all the idiots that grace the NFL. And yes, there is a lot of them. Well, fair enough, it's coming to fruition of late over the last few weeks. So many years too late, you could argue, because there's a lot of animals knocking about in the NFL at the moment. But as I say, that's all been done to death. So I want positive stories. I want your take. What have been your takes? What have you learned from the first 2 weeks? Oh, the Bills, by the way. The Bills are starting off 2-0. Did anyone see that? The Saints 0-2. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will go to my spoiler alert for the not so great 8. A lot of people were high on them, and they are struggling, is the polite way of putting things. Quarterback controversy. Is there any? What do you see? What's jumping out at you? Any players playing above expectations, below standards? J.J. Watt, could he be the new Jimmy Graham? The Texans are rumoured to be using him as a tight end a lot more, giving defences a lot more to think about. So basically, I want to try and just get some good vibe. What's been your take? What's your standout? Are you even going to the game next weekend? We had a few good questions poised last week regarding the NFL UK franchise. I feel we'll probably save that for next weekend, and if we can get a few of you guys from around the stadium ringing in, we'll take in the atmosphere, tell me what you're seeing. So that'll be for next week's one. But for this week, I want to focus on the positive side of things. As hard as it might be, I'm not smoothing over any cracks. We all know there's idiots and stuff everywhere, and I'm not trying to hide any of that at all. I'm just absolutely sick to the back teeth of talking about it and hearing about it. It's depressing, and I know there's a lot of good come from it. The various helplines for child abuse and domestic violence, they've been ringing absolutely off. Apparently there's not enough staff to man all these calls, so in light of all the bad news, it's been good that people are now reaching out and not afraid to report those sort of incidents. So it's every cloud has a silver lining, so to say, so that is one good thing that's come of it. Right then, I'm going to move on. So the number, give out the number, so you can ring in. Everyone's like, yeah, that's fantastic, dude, by the way. How do we contact you? Very nearly. The number is 0161 818 4593. That is 0161 818 4593. Failing that, hit me up on good old Skype. That is T-Smister, T-E-E-C-E, Mister, T-Smister, T-E-E-C-E, Mister. Remember, audio calls only. We don't want no video calls. And the catastrophe that was good old Biff Sweeney a few weeks ago. If you didn't catch that, I do suggest you go back and check out episode 6. Fantastic. Bit of comedy gold there. It sort of might... it could lead to a feature. We might have a Call of Fame sort of feature at the end of the season when we put something out. If I can come up with something clever enough. Or if you're a lot cleverer than me, which I imagine that's not difficult, hit me up for the hot route. And we'll embrace that. We'll work on that. So before we get into the absolute nitty-gritty of the show in regards to the Not So Great 8 and what else have I got? The Love Line and fantasy stuff. Going to recap a bit of news. Some of it stems from like Monday, Tuesday last week. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not. If not, well, listen up. If you have heard it, just embrace it and enjoy this stumbling idiot. Right, but before we get to that, I can see the phone flashing in the background, so I'll check in on Twitter. And the Twitter is Zone Coverage FS. Right then, let's double check where we are with this. Good old Twitter, and we've got a few notifications here. Seems the wife and a few of the guys are having a bit of banter regarding Roger Goodell there. Here we go. Yes, just a few retweets there. Will Davies retweeting. Thank you very much, sir. Who else do we have? Neil Dutton's been retweeting the show that we're on air as well. Fantastic. Appreciate that, guys. Marty, in regards to the Heart Route, he did mention last week, actually, about putting Glennon in, and Josh McCown is now out for a few weeks, so that is going to happen. Shame about their D. Yeah, what's happening, Bucks fans? Lovie Smith's D. Is he not the saviour of defence? It's not. What did they? I can't even remember how many points. I lost count after 50-odd, the Thursday night game. But we'll touch on that in a minute. So that is Twitter. It's just people spreading the word about the show and that at the moment, so that's great stuff. I'll check back in on that in a moment. So let's just... Blue Lion Man's added me on Skype. So while I try and figure out how to accept his credentials without cutting you off... Just hum a tune to yourself for one moment while I just do this. The Blue Lion Man, that's all sorted, done and dusted. Fantastic. Must remember to press the right button. Yeah, seamless. That was a seamless transition, my end. Right now, let's get into some NFL news. Right then, Giants wide receiver Gerald Jernigan is out for the year with a foot injury. It's going to start off with a lot of injuries, to be honest, at the top of the show here. We have Bears Charles Tillman out for the season. Torn tricep, that's got to hurt. Not that a foot injury is any less painful, but torn tricep sounds kind of nasty. Bucks Gerald McCoy broke his hand. I do believe he missed the game on Thursday. Charles D. Lyman, Arthur Jones, high ankle sprain. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. RG3. Can anyone feel some sort of, I don't know, what's the crap with RG3? The kid can't catch a break. Well, he can catch a break, but not the sort of break that he wants. He wants a break and luck, not a break and bones. So yeah, RG3 suffered a dislocated ankle. It's unsure how long he'll be out. So in steps Kirk Cousins. There was a few people sort of, let's say, stirring the pot in regards to RG3 and Kirk Cousins before the season got underway, in all honesty. So it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of turns out when RG3 returns. Is it going to be right? Is this like do I dare say that is this the beginning of the end for RG3? He burst onto the scenes, had one of the greatest rookie seasons ever, only to succumb to injury, and then was sort of benched towards the end of last season for his own personal health, and he's come back. He's looked a bit unsure, in all honesty. Kirk Cousins is sort of waiting there in the wings, done a steady job. Let's not remember. Well, let's remember, actually. Let's not remember. That'd be more like let's forget. Yeah, surely. Anyway, Kirk Cousins has come in, and he did have some very good games, but also remind John, he did have a couple of stinkers along the way as well. So is he more suited to the offense? Well, time will tell. You can stake his claim, and for whatever may happen, could he be traded? I honestly don't know what's going to happen there, but RG3 kid can't catch a break. Yeah, why do I smile when I say that? That's some sort of sick... sort of a twisted mentality within me. Anyway, Dolphins, no Sean Marino. He had dislocated an elbow. Talking of painful injuries, I mentioned a torn tricep. Dislocated elbow's been absolutely horrendous. He's out for 4 to 8 weeks. Jamal Charles, the curious case of Jamal Charles, high ankle sprain. Before jumping on the show, I saw reports that maybe he's good to go, maybe he's in, maybe he's out. Believe the last one I saw was he's out. Don't quote me on that. That'll probably change over the next 90 plus minutes. But we'll address that because yes, later on in the show, because it's a copycat league, so we will be going no huddle. Tom from Huddle Magazine will be bringing some last breaking news before we go off air. So no huddle, Huddle Magazine. You see what I'm doing? It's pure genius, my end. Right then, I imagine there's a lot of face palming going on there. Going, oh my God, he's out of control today. Anyway, right then, back to the news. Talking of running backs, Chargers Ryan Matthews, he's out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL sprain. There's been a load of injuries. I've not got a big enough piece of paper to write them all down. So those are the sort of ones that jumped out at me at the beginning of the week. Crying out loud. It's going to be a long show. Someone ring in and save me. 0161 818 4593. T. Smister on good old Skype. Right then, the new drug policy was it passed? Wasn't it passed? Who knows? It was craziness. It sort of spewed on into, Wednesday, Thursday, if not Friday. I completely lost track. Again, I was sick of seeing that. But what it does mean, there's a lot of new players. A lot of players that were suspended that are now back. They've been reinstated. Wes Welker, Stedman Bailey, Orlando Scanrick, and Eric Herman. They've been reinstated. There's also there's a lot. My notes here. There's an estimated 20 people who've been affected by this new drug policy. Some of them have been reinstated, and the others that haven't. So they're sort of like in different stages of the program. And now, basically, you've got to go on the pitch smoking a joint before you sort of get banned for any serious length of time. From what I'm reading into, one offence is just. It's crazy. I've not fully read it. I might be telling or expanding the truth. A few porkies there, but I know you're going to pull me up for it not being factually correct. The truth is, I've really not studied it a great deal because it's just been bits of information here, there, and everywhere. And if they did release something bang on, I missed it. So, hey-ho. Things happen. I've been busy my end. So, yeah, certain players have been reinstated. Certain other nameless players, by the way, which is even more worrying, have sort of like been progressed through the system. And don't get me started on how corrupt the system is and all that sort of nonsense. I did say I wanted to be positive today, but I'm getting myself down reading the news. Right then, this brings us on. There's been a new list now to confuse the mindset as it is, which is not difficult if you're me. You only got to give me a piece of paper, a pen, a highlighter pen, a microphone, and a laptop, and it all goes boobs up. Anyway, right then, we have a new list. What is it now? The exempt/commissioner's permission list. Yeah, it's like one of these naughty kids that when you were a child and you were put and got special treatment and ended up going on random day trips. I believe they do that even more these days. That's an entirely other rant, my end. Well, now there's one if you are a naughty player within the NFL. I don't get where this list come from, and you get paid full pay. So Adrian Peterson has obviously landed on this list. He was activated, deactivated. It's been a mess with the Minnesota Vikings. Sponsors are kicking up a stink as well. I do believe there's a hotel chain that have sort of had a word and dropped their support and sponsorship deal. They've suspended it, I should say. Radisson, I believe it is, if memory serves me correct. So there's a lot going on, public pressure, rightly so. Everyone's kicking up a stink, and now there's this new exempts list. Basically, he remains on the list. Adrian Peterson does. He gets paid, and he does not affect roster spots. So he does not take up a roster spot on the list, being on that list, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. Very, very odd how he does not end on that. Also, who else ended up on this list? Greg Hardy as well, Panthers. He's ended up on this list for what must be his 1,000th run-in with the law, we should say. So, yeah, there's this new commissioners list. Only the commissioner has the authority to place a player on the exempt list. Clubs have no such authority. No exemption, regardless of circumstances, is automatic. The commissioner also has the authority to determine in advance whether a player's time on the exempt list will be finite or continue until the commissioner deems the exemption should be lifted and the player returned to the active list. Basically, it's sort of like a stash list until court proceedings, legal proceedings have been sorted out, rather than just a straight out cutting like what happened to Ray Rice. Again, that's another can of worms. It just keeps going and going. I do believe the NFLPA are appealing his suspension there. Whether you agree or disagree with that, that's sort of a union. It is a union, so you know how things go with those. They'll back your case and stuff, but I'm not going to get into the politics of all this because it's just depressing. As I did say 20 minutes ago now, rambling on, that there's been some good come out of all this madness and carnage that's gone on. People are no longer afraid to report such incidences, and that is great to hear. Right then, going on with the rest of the news. Some good news, some actual NFL news. That can be... Yeah, it's positive. It's a good thing. It happened on Thursday night. If you're a Bucks fan, you might want to turn your ears down, put hands over your ears. Whatever you do, not listen, but not for too long. Anyway, Falcons' Devin Hester set an NFL record with his 20th return for a touchdown, breaking the mark held by the great Deion Sanders. He returned a 56-yard punt for a touchdown midway through the second quarter to give... the Falcons then, I think he bumped them up to a 35-zip lead over the sad old Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that was the only one bit of positive good news that I found this week, believe it or not. Because then we get back onto the drugs and stuff. Because Miami Dolphins, Deion Jordan, he was suspended for 4 games. Guess what? He's been suspended again for the second time this year for a violation of the NFL substance abuse policy, and he must now sit out the next 4 games without pay. The word's dumb, and a few expletives spring to mind with all these players that just sadly can't put certain vices on hold for 10, 15, 10 years, even 5 years, in some cases even less. To enjoy a glittering career and become the greatest. You can, by the time you're 35, whatever, you can go and indulge in whatever floats your boat then. Until then, just sort of behave. It's not really difficult, is it? Come on. Right, some sad news I woke up to today. Former Titans kicker Rob Bionis, he got married in June. He was killed in a car crash Saturday evening. He was 36. According to a report from the Nashville Metro, Bionis lost control of his SUV he was operating and went off the road into several trees. It turned upside down. He was transported by ambulance to the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. There was no evidence of drugs or alcohol at the time, and this was a report from the Nashville Metro. That was around about 11 p.m. Central Time Saturday. So, very, very, very sad news there. So, thoughts and prayers go out to the family there. It's tragic events there. So with that sort of rounds up the news. There's a lot going on with this drug policy and suspensions and magical lists that have appeared that it's a mess. The NFL is a mess. I think isn't how Robbie James, he said, was last week the worst week in the NFL. Yeah, the past 10 days as the good old Rodgers seat getting warmer and warmer as we go. It's just ridiculous. It's frustrating for me. I can't say what I want to say with dropping probably about 10 to 20 F and S bombs on the trot. I'm probably getting sued, so bear with me. I have to do that, otherwise the show will be no more, if you know what I mean. Difficult my end, and I would imagine it's probably been a difficult listen for those 23 minutes, but you'll know what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's move on. I say I want to be positive, and then I'm going to reel off the not-so-great 8. The irony. Right then, I will do the not-so-great 8. Well, we'll check in on Twitter. Because Twitter's gone crazy, absolutely crazy. So bear with me while I call up the notifications on that. To do that on Twitter, hit me up. It is Zone Coverage FS. Where are we? Here we go. 15 notifications, a lot of retweets going on. There's a lot of people moaning, basically. There's a lot of people going. There's a sort of people moaning about the Tony Peckham is having a rant about the NFL's lack of radio coverage on a Sunday night. It says it's not fair on those that don't have access to Sky or Game Pass. That is a fair point. I've seen a few tweets regarding this. Where has the radio coverage gone? They used to pop the games on 5 Live or 5 Live Extra, and it only ever... Do you know what annoys me with all this? That when the international games come round, they can't get enough of it. It's on BBC, it's on Channel 4, it's on every radio station ever. It's like the greatest event in the world. And then the week after, you'll see it this week, week 4 coming up. It'll be everywhere. Week 5... You'll hear nothing, no radio, anything. It's very, very annoying and frustrating. Why can't you just embrace it fully? Why have you just got to go round for certain events? That winds me up. That should be today's hot route. All this bad news. John McDonald really made him feel a lot better reading about Mako. Oh, God, I cannot pronounce that. Do not give me names that I can't pronounce. Appreciate the tweet, John. Oh dear, because I mentioned players on the field smoking weed, new celebration, the spliff spike. Yeah, thanks Marty. I've been asked if I am going to the NFL games in London this year. I'm not going to the first one. I do plan on going to the latter two. I have a lot busy my end, basically, is what I am saying. Devin Hester, record for punts, return, speed, hashtag speed kills. Miami Dolphins UK have followed me. Welcome aboard, people. Tony's having a right rant about the radio stuff. Brett Loveday at Cow Yank. He switched off ESPN NFL pre-game show to listen to the Zone coverage show. Sir, I applaud you for that. I really do, especially with this stumbling nonsense that I've been spewing out for the last 26 minutes. So right then, that is up to date on Twitter. That is up to date with your news. I do apologise if it's a bit what's the word I'm after now? All over the place, my end. It's just negative everywhere. So with that negativity, let's go on to the Not So Great 8 feature. As I did say top of the show, Not So Great 8 is like a flip on your good old power rankings. You know how it is. 32 to 1, the worst team to the greatest team ever. Blah, de blah, de blah. Right then, so this is now the third instalment of the Not So Great 8. I'm not going to do it every week just because it becomes tiresome and I really don't have the time. Yeah, professional there, I know. Right then, it's going to do it about every 2, 3, 4 weeks, whenever suits really. If we get a lot of calls and that sort of lined up, we will just jump in at whenever I feel the need for it. I have no idea what goes on. Every time I jump on the radio on a Sunday, there's a variety of sirens and stuff going on. I should have just wait for me. It's probably because I'm committing crime to the radio airwaves. Right then, here we go. We'll start off in the AFC East. Last time out, I should also say, before we jump into this, there's 4 movers. So yeah, 4 movers. Right then, AFC East. The Not So Great 8. It's killed me, do this. Killed me. I'm going to get a lot of flack from this from my fellow Jets fans. But I'm going with the Jets. The Jets are propping up the AFC East in the Not So Great 8 feature. And why, you ask? Well, the Bills are 2-0. Never saw that one coming. The Bills were bottom, I think, the first time I did this. Then the Dolphins replaced them. No, yeah, should. Yeah, the Dolphins replaced them. But why are the Jets bottom of the Not So Great 8? Why is that now? It's like that because who've the Jet beats? They've only beaten the Raiders and they lost to the Packers. The Dolphins won a divisional game. They beat the Pats. The Bears. The Bills have won a divisional game beating the Dolphins. Plus they beat the Bears on the road. And the Pats, they beat the Vikings, which I peg the Vikings better than a finger team. Let's jump to the phones. Hello.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm okay. Who's this?
It's Biff.
Oh, hey up, Biff. You sound different today, bud.
I'm extremely hungover. That's why.
Dare I ask what shenanigans went on your end then?
Had a bit of a house party for the wife because it was her birthday yesterday.
Oh, right. Happy birthday.
Yeah. So I invited a load of her friends over.
All right. What sort of
wasted.
Right. What sort of time did this go on till then?
Could have been 5 a.m.
Wow, that's a nice quiet night. Oh, the phone calls dropped off. With the hangover, I would imagine it came with a case of dropsies possibly there, Biff. If you could just give us a bell back, mate. Appears your phone is struggling in a similar vein to yourself. Let's go back to the not-so-great 8. So, yeah, that was the Jets at the bottom of the AFC East. Basically because they've just not beat anyone of any substance, really. So, apologies, Raiders fans, but that's just the way that it is. Cold, hard facts. Here's Biff back by the looks of things. Hello, sir.
How are you again?
We'll try this again. I was just saying as the phone went down, it sounds like your phone could be suffering just as badly as yourself.
Yeah, probably. I just looked at my phone when it went bed, and I was like, "Don't tell me this is happening all over again."
Yes, yeah. No more F-bombs this week, please.
No. Or F-bombs.
Oh, brilliant. What can I do for you?
Yeah, you're actually, just before I rang, you hit on it about the games in England.
Yeah.
I was asking you which game you were going to, and you just said the next one.
Yeah, I did get tickets for all 3 games, but I've got a lot coming up over the next few weeks, so I reluctantly sold the game tickets for next week, but I will be at the Lions, Falcons, and the Cowboys, Jags. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, I should have that written down. I should know that, actually. You shouldn't need writing down. But yeah, yourself, are you getting over for any?
No. I can't afford it.
No, I could imagine.
Not at the moment.
Yeah, it's...
I'd rather go and spend money and go over to MetLife Stadium over New York.
Yeah, that was the sort of point that Noel made last week when he rung in. He's saying it was a bit expensive to go to the London games, and even he'd lived in the London area. And he said, you might as well save your money and go overseas and catch the game there. Yeah,
no, it's travel from Ireland over to England now, and the change of currency and that, it's way too expensive.
Yeah, plus I know
you get a nice summer holiday with that.
Yeah, that's very true. For a weekend away, you might as well go and spoil the family, aren't you? I can totally appreciate that. I know, because when this was brought up last week as well, there was a call sort of put out would a game in Ireland go over well?
Yeah.
And there's a lot that got a lot of mentions.
Yeah, I know there's they have the NCAA coming over here. But there was talk, I think, a couple of years ago about the Steelers coming over because their owner is he has relations in Ireland.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He's his family's originally from, I think, it's Tipperary. Something like that. So it'd be nice if it could happen, but I can't see it happening enough for a long time.
No, also I think Noel mentioned like that week 17 sort of feel, like every team come over and spread them around. Maybe they could.
I thought that was a good point.
Yeah, it was a very good idea. Let's get some and get the Wembley games. You could go one up Scotland, one in Ireland, and Germany was mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Why not? It's only an extra, 50 minutes on a plane, something like that, an extra hour. You've done 8-9 hours. What's another couple?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so that was one of the better ideas I sort of I've heard on this sort of point, to be fair. Can you sort of expand on that, Biff? Any sort of thing you could throw in there?
Really. Yeah, no, all last week. I think everybody would love if the NFL came back over here.
Yeah.
Because I think the Giants, it was years ago, the Giants came here. But I think it'd be the Steelers if there was a team to come here.
Yeah.
Because of the connections.
Yeah, it makes sense
but
when you put it like that.
As I was saying, I can't see that now for a long time.
No. Moving on, sorry, Biff. Just moving on a little bit. What have you sort of made of this first 2 weeks of the season? Is there anything sort of jumped out on you apart from all this sort of nonsense that's been going on?
No, it's just getting pretty sick of all this doom and gloom.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's kind of... I mentioned it a few times, so I don't want to sound like I'm paping over all the cracks or anything like that. I'm no NFL shill, whatever. I will speak my mind, but I do have to be careful at the same time. But the first 2 weeks of football have been fantastic. That Browns game last week against the Saints, what a climax that was.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills again, I keep mentioning the Bills. So they're like the jump-out one for me at the moment.
There's been a lot of strange results.
Yeah, there has, 49ers sort of collapsed in their own backyard as well. It's just... It's been... I just feel that's been overshadowed vastly by just...
Yes, you even seen it last weekend. The Jets collapsed in the second half.
Yeah.
21-3 up.
Yeah, I've that one hurt deeply.
Yeah, I know.
As you did here on the other show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's been a few surprises now, but can you see any tonight?
I was talking to, I mentioned it a few times already, Robbie James, he's a Cards fan. I could see the Cards knocking off the 49ers tonight. That'd be a good game. But I don't see a great deal of shocks on the Cards because most of them are sort of evenly matched in my eyes this week. There's some cracking games.
Yeah, apart from the Oakland Patriots game.
Yeah, that'd be an upset. That would be a big upset. I can't see it.
Upset, but I can't see it.
No, or me. I honestly, I'm just looking at these fixtures now. The Jags beating the Colts. Would you say that'd be an upset? Because the Colts would then go to 0-3, and the Jags need a win because they've looked miserable. In fairness, their O-line. What I think did he surrender?
Oh, they're the worst O-line. I think.
Yeah, they surrendered 10 sacks to the Redskins last week, which is a frightening amount. The Texans beating the Giants, I could honestly see that. I could see both of them winning. Redskins, Eagles, again, I see that's evenly matched. Cowboys, Rams, I don't think that'd be a shock if anyone topped anyone there. Bills, Chargers is a sneaky good game.
Yeah.
That, especially what the Chargers did last week, and I'd say the Bills. Like, a lot of love for the Bills today. I don't like that.
Yeah, but then you got, like as you were saying, the Chargers. Melvin Ingram, he's out.
Is he? Oh, that's a big loss for them. Big loss. I think. Also...
Yeah, and what's his name? Carson Palmer, he's still out of, I think.
Yeah, I did hear something in the week. He's struggling to even grip a ball at the moment.
Yeah.
That's
another thing.
Yeah, they seem very unsure when he'll be back. I think Drew Stanton is believed to carry on today, but he did a relatively okay job last week, so he got the win. What everyone's been talking about this week, the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl rematch. Are we seeing a butt whipping, the polite way to put it, again? Or
I wouldn't say butt whipping, but I can't see Denver winning tonight.
I can't. I don't care who you are, how good you are. Going into Seattle, it's a whole different ball of wax, isn't it? It's just...
Especially Seattle lost last week.
Yeah. They got a point to prove.
Yeah.
It was good to see the Chargers go after Richard Sherman, and there's been some great back and forth there. That's probably been one of the sort of highlights of the week. Nothing nasty. I'm sure... what was his name now? Oh, Chargers receiver, young rookie last year. It escapes me.
Allen?
Yes. I forget his first name. Oh, why am I drawing a blank on this?
Is it
Keenan Allen, yes.
Allen?
Thank you, Biff. Cheers, mate. Yeah. He said he was... I can't remember what his quote was, but I know Sherman come back out and said something about two little Chargers receivers or something. And that was good for see. Good banter there.
Yeah. But see, the worst thing about Sherman, he can only play on one side of the pitch.
Yeah, that is the main criticism on him, isn't it, really? If he followed the one round, he would answer a few questions and doubts they have, and I'm one of those myself, in all fairness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else then, sort of jumping out at your Biff? Anything on your mind, mate?
No, not really.
No.
No, I just thought I'd give you a ring because it seemed that no one was ringing in here today.
That's a quiet one this week. Yeah, I've had.
Sorry for you.
I appreciate that, mate. Especially with the hangover and no sleep and everything, mate. Thanks for bailing me out.
Cold sweat.
Fantastic stuff. It doesn't help that I'm struggling today for some weird reason. Don't know why. Oh well.
You have them days.
Yeah, you certainly do. Never mind.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I shall let you go. Go have a lie down in a cool, dark room, Beth. I always find I used to lie down, no word of a lie. My hangover cure was lying down if you've got like a tiled floor in the kitchen or something, and minimal clothes, lying on a cold floor seemed to work.
In your man tongue.
That's not a good visual, my end.
I don't think that'd work with the kids.
No. Well, on that note, I think we best leave it. Okay then, Biff. Appreciate the call, mate. Take care.
All right, mind yourself. Take care, Mark. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Brilliant. That was Biff there, ringing in. as you could probably tell, nursing a bit of a hangover there, so he's off to lie down on a cold kitchen bathroom floor in a man thong. So yeah, I'll jump back on Twitter. I've been seeing that flash whilst I've been talking to Biff. Right then, we will jump back on the not so great 8 in a moment. But where was I? These net me slow. My phone is so slow today. Right then, where are we? We have new followers. Welcome aboard. Pick any game and option for the radio. Coverage. Right then. Radio coverage can now be accessed from scores and schedules area of the NFL mobile app. Cheers for that. Hello?
Hello, Mark. It's Tony Peckham here.
Hey up, Tony. How are you, mate?
How you doing?
I am very, very well, sir.
Good. I thought I'd ring in, help you out. I heard the word hangover, so I thought you were calling out to me, so I thought I'd ring in.
That's a good man. From where I did notice my Twitter went crazy on Friday night, so I assume that one was indulging in a spot of gin.
Well, just purely for medicinal purposes. It's just to get me through this whole fantasy football thing, see? So,
But you're having a good start from what I've seen.
I am having a good start. I mean, that's part of the reason why I rung in, actually, just to sort of say, as a fantasy league virgin, I think, it's a fantastic way of getting into the game, to be honest with you, because it's not something that I've always said, you guys from the other podcasts, that, you're all experts, you all seem to know everything, the ins and outs, especially Marty. I mean, what that guy don't know about yardage and sack fumble returnage and whatnot is, worth thinking about. So I was going to say, it's been fantastic getting into it because you do sort of learn more about the game as you go through.
Yeah.
Even though I'm winning, I won't be saying that next week because I'm up against someone who's also 2-0, so I'll lose tonight. So.
I was going to say it's a commentator's curse you've just give yourself there.
Yeah, I knew that anyway, to be honest with you. I've got Decker in my team, so Christ knows what's going to happen tomorrow night.
Yes, that's going to be an interesting one for you. I will just pull it up. You used the word expert. I'll have to shoot that one down.
Well, I don't know. You know more than me, mate. You know more than me. But, I was also having a bit of a rant up about the radio coverage. And, I mean, I suppose the easy thing to do in the UK, if you're a big follower of the NFL, obviously, is to subscribe to Sky, which I totally get. And, there's probably some of your listeners listening to me now thinking, what tight so-and-so for not being able to do so. But I think that when you've got busy lives and you're trying to follow it as well, it's not on at the best time of night in some occasions. Yeah. Sometimes it was quite nice just to stick the radio on and have it on. I mean, I remember the ill-fated New York Jets Colts playoff game from many years ago. I mean, I followed the whole lot on 5 Live.
Yeah.
And, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the coverage was brilliant if you didn't have access to it on Game Pass or Sky or something like that. And I just found, I don't know, they keep changing the goalposts every year. 1 minute you can get it through this form of media, next minute you can't get it anymore. And it's getting more and more difficult to do anything bar go via Sky. I mean, I'm quite excited tomorrow night, obviously, because the Jets are on at some ungodly hour against the Bears. It's on British Eurosport, so I can actually pick that up. But that is probably going to be my only opportunity to see a live Jets game throughout the season.
Yeah,
so,
it is an awkward one. I know. Just as you rung, Will Davies on Twitter. You'll give him. I'll retweet it for you. Give Will a follow. It might be able to help. Yeah, it says the radio coverage can now be accessed from the scores and schedules area of the NFL mobile app. I think if you go on the TuneIn app as well, that you can listen to this show by, I do believe you can catch like ESPN New York and stuff like that.
Well, I've tried that, though, because that was the other point I was going to make. Actually, that was how I used to listen to the Jets games many years ago. Yeah. But they've actually seemed to have blocked it for mobile devices. So again, you've got to sit in front. You can listen to it on a sort of standalone computer, but you've got iPads or anything like that. You can't listen to it on. So you have to sit in front of the computer and. I've got one of the old 1980s ones, so I can't sort of carry it around the house. Commodore 64 type thing.
Commodore 64. I used to go around my granddad's every Sunday and play on a Formula 1 game on a Commodore 64. I don't know if you remember that. You'd have like a random oil patch in the middle of the road and you'd go over that and you used to slow right the way down.
Well, I was always a Spectrum boy, to be honest with you, with the rubber keys. So,
when those cassettes used to load up, make that annoying noise, and then you'd waste 3 minutes of your life and have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 15 minutes of Manic Miner to come up on the screen. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
We're showing her age there, Tony.
Yeah, I know exactly. Well, you're older than me. So.
Oh, good comeback.
You're not.
No, we won't.
But that was all it was, really. I was just ringing in to just, have a bit of a grumble about it, because I last year it was on Absolute, and I don't know why they put it on there, but it was good enough, and I went to find it the other week, and it's gone. So I have to watch Midsummer Night's Murders now.
Oh dear, I feel your pain
exactly.
there. I do feel your pain. Also,
wild in our house.
Yeah, it's all quiet till that gin comes out. What I will say is, in regards to this, what else is on in the middle of the night, radio-wise? There's not a great deal on. Surely they could.
That's a fair point.
This is it. It's not like in the middle of the day where you have your 11s and your top 10 at 10 sort of nonsense where they play the same songs in a different order every day.
Yeah.
Why not put it on the night? Surely there's got to be.
Well, I can only put it down to the fact that the NFL obviously make the the rights of access so expensive that BBC. It probably can't afford to do it anymore. Their budgets are getting slashed, and I put it down to the fact that there's probably someone out there who's trying to get very greedy off the back of it, which is why all the radio stations have probably walked away from it. But,
that's probably right. Yeah, money does speak volumes, don't it?
Yeah,
I know.
I probably just have to get Sky now. That's what it is.
I know, Tony. I know it's still an expense, but I do highly recommend the Game Pass. And if you just wanted to follow one team, you don't have to check out all the other games. I do believe that's around £80, and that'll cover you for the year.
Okay, I might have to invest. It's getting to that point now where I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I know. If you didn't want to spend the £50-odd a month on Sky, that is a good alternative. To be fair, and that is a good. That's the way I've been watching my games. In all honesty.
Yeah. Well worth knowing.
Yeah. So if you could check that out, I don't know of any promo codes or anything like that. I know the season's a couple of weeks old now, but if anyone does know a code, hit us up and I'll try and pass that on to you.
I'll get the wife onto that. She's an expert at all that.
Brilliant stuff.
If there's a discount going, she'll find it.
Yeah. Women have a knack for that, don't they? I got like £1 off to some random fruit that you've never ate before.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You've got this voucher.
Yeah,
And I feel
buy one bag of light cheese, get the other free. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I'm glad that's not just me that suffers that then.
No, mate. No, we're in it together.
Great stuff, Tony. Thank you.
Not at all. Keep up the good work, mate.
I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. Anything else I can do you for before you?
No. Thoroughly enjoying the season this year so far. I think it's fantastic. Great to see. I mean, not League One. Week 1 was fantastic.
Yes.
I thought with quite a bit of upset going on. Nice to see the Bengals and the Browns having a few wins. And apart from my second team, which is the poor old Buccaneers, which I'm getting used to now anyway. They, every team seems to be, throwing their lot at it. So it's been exciting. I hope it carries on.
Yeah, I echo them sentiments exactly. Yeah, long may the madness and on the field continue. I must emphasise. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, mate, I'll let you get on. Keep up the good work, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, Tony. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm finally catching up with you, mate.
Finally catching up, I know. First on live radio, there you go.
Good man, appreciate that, buddy.
All right, mate, take care, Mark.
Take care, Tone. Catch you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.
And that is Tony Peckham. He's I've known Tony for, must be going on a couple of years via Twitter. And he's sort of amassed legendary status among like a group of us. I don't want to paint a picture that he's a raging drunk or anything like that. He's a really good guy, but he likes to have a tipple of gin on a Friday night, and I'm usually at work Friday nights, and you get the most obscure and random tweets from Tony. He's a hell of a character, a great lad. I'll give you his Twitter handle. It's a great follow. Actually, if I can just pull that up, it's at AcousticTP. That's ACOUSTICTP. So that is Tony there. Not so great 8. I will jump back in on a minute. Twitter, I've got a few notifications here. And just a bit of banter going back and forth. There we go. Oh, yeah, the Equinox, Dear Zone coverage. Manning would have spent 7 months waiting for tonight. Denver will win. There's a Manning fanboy. So that is Taylor Equinox there. Thank you very much. Marty's outraged by me putting the Jets at the bottom of the not so great 8. It's because if they beat the Raiders, and that's it. So that is that really. What else? That's pretty much it for Twitter. Let's get back to the not so great 8 before the fancy 5 at 5. A little bit all over the place today, folks. Do apologise for that. Don't know what's got into me. It's because I'm not ranting properly. I'm sort of having to hold back. It's not good. Right then, we go to the AFC North. The Browns, they've been replaced by the Steelers. Shocker. The Bengals have looked good in both of their games, so they're not going to prop up the division at this moment in time. The Ravens smoked the Steelers, in all fairness, and the Browns had a belting comeback against the Steelers, and then they knocked off the Saints. So the Steelers have only beaten the Browns. So unfortunately, the Steelers do prop up the AFC North and my not-so-great 8 feature. Moving on then to the AFC West. Where are we now? I can't even read my own handwriting. This is ridiculous. Yes, the Chiefs did prop up this last time round, but the Raiders... I'm sorry, Raiders fans, but yeah, even your players say that you stink or you suck. I can't quite remember the quote, but yeah, they've lost their opening 2 games, and it's poor. Very, very poor from the Raiders sort of perspective. I thought they might have been able to string a bit together. I feel sorry for David Carr. He's come in. He's looked okay, but phrase I like to use, he's sort of peeing in the wind. He ain't getting anywhere fast, is he? So, plus the Raiders got mauled by the Texans, and I didn't see them having the sort of start to the season that they've had. So, yeah, the Raiders prop up the AFC West there. The AFC South. Yeah. Oh, my God. The Texans propped up this last time. They started 2-0. I'm sure I've got all this jumbled up, by the way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so last time they did. So now, yeah, that's the point. Last season, the Texans jumped out to a 2-0 start. What happened? Lost last 14 games on the bounce. Could that happen again? And how bizarre would that be? Right then, so that's random fact out the way. So yeah, the Jags go in here. Yeah, Chad Henne's looked absolutely awful. Is it Bortles time? Is it? Would you put him in behind that O-line? Do you want to absolutely kill your potential franchise quarterback going forward? And the Jags D, it's ranked 29th overall. It's allowing 37.5 points per game. That is a league high, by the way. And the offense is ranked dead last. I actually did a bit of research for that one. So that is the AFC South with the Jags propping up that division. Let's move on to the NFC East. We have a non-mover here with the NFC East. The Giants remain bottom there. Eli Manning, he's looked a little better in fairness. He's still not firing on all cylinders because he's still getting used to Ben Agudu system. So yeah, just any excuse for me play that sound effect in fairness. And I'm sick of hearing people throwing at me, Eli's run two rings. Whatever, that argument's old in my eyes. If you want to, I'll embrace that argument again. Zone coverage, FS. I've set myself up for a great fall there with that one. But yeah, there's not only that. Odell Beckham, he's been struggling with injuries. Let's say the Giants stink again. I can see them clearing house moving forward, in all fairness. It's jumped to the phones again. After a slow start, the phones are going wild. Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello, who's that?
It's Blue Light Man, Noel.
Noel. How are you, sir?
Cool. I've just been listening to the show. I was about 5 minutes late today, but
you're getting better.
I was going back. I just wanted to sing the praises of Game Pass. I know a lot of people knock it.
Yeah.
But I was phoning in for a couple of things, and one, I've got a promo code, so if we get it on your program, people can play it back and find it. I signed up beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And people were posting different promo codes on NFL UK. There's quite a lot out there.
Yeah.
But the best one I found was if you type in REP in capital letters and 15, it gives you 15% off, and it works on any of their packages.
Nice.
So basically, I got the middle package, which was any game of the season. And other people on there hinted. One of them talked me into joining one of those like money back sites. You can go and buy it through.
Oh yeah.
And they give you like a kickback. I think I went with Top Cash. And so I haven't got the money back yet because it takes months, but it's free to sign up to, and they're linked with Game Pass as well, and the code still worked. And you got the 15% off. It knocked it down to about, I think for the middle package I paid about, I think it was £89 for the season, and that gives you, the reason I went for the middle package is if you went for the package you said, the lower one, you are only saving about 10 or £12.
Yeah.
But you could only specifically have your team, and as the other guy pointed out, unless you are a bit of a computer expert and you can trick it to not thinking you're in the UK, obviously the Sky games are blacked out. So if you're paying, say, like the guy you had on before was a Jets fan, and you've paid the smallest package, so you can only watch Jets games, but then Sky is showing it, you can't watch the game that week because it's blacked out for 24 or 48 hours. So, I mean, you couldn't watch it live. Yeah. Whereas if you go for the overall package, the only two that are blacked out are the two on Sky. Every other game's there for choice. But also with the middle package, you get access to a lot of other things, including Red Zone. So if you're a fantasy football player, and Red Zone was basically invented for the fantasy fans in the US. Basically what it does is every time a team is within the red zone, like first and goal or within 20 yards, it jumps to that game, and it basically pretty much shows you that. And whenever there's a score, if it's missed it goes back and it shows you all the touchdowns constantly for all the games.
Yeah, so Red Zone is fantastic. I've caught that a few times. It's one of them. Sometimes the game's on Sky, like, I'm not much for that one. Put Red Zone on, and it's probably more exciting than watching the game because it just floats you around to all the action, doesn't it?
Well, I must admit, what I tend to do is I pay for the middle package, so I've got the choice, and so I'll always watch the Lions game, although today I can't. I'm going to have to go and use one of my Now TV passes or find a way of tricking the site, because I believe the Lions-Packers game is the first one on Sky tonight, so it's going to be blacked out on Red Zone for me, so it'll be the first week where I've got to look at different methods for getting the Lions this week, but then whenever it's not the Lions game, I'll always have Red Zone on. With the majority of games, and then the only other games I'll watch are the standalone ones, like on Thursday and the late one Sunday nights, which I think is on Channel 4 this year. So,
Channel 4 tonight. I think that's Steelers-Panthers tonight. Yeah,
if anyone goes and wants season pass, I actually think as the season goes on as well, NFL reduce the prices because obviously there's less games left. So I don't know what the price would be now, but type in Rep 15 and I believe the code is still good.
Fantastic. That's good stuff.
The only thing it doesn't give you, and people must be aware of this, and the reason I didn't buy the top package is if you're not in the UK, or I think Ireland might be the same, then buying the top package will get you access to all past games and Super Bowls and loads of other content, but it will get you to playoffs. In the UK and I think Ireland, it won't, because Sky has them all. So again, they'd be blacked out. You'd get them, but not live. So I didn't see the point. You're probably better off paying £40 for 1 month or whatever Sky is to have for 1 month, so you could have all the playoff games.
Yeah.
So the middle package I thought was the best option, and went for that. And the reason I didn't phone in earlier is I wanted to give other people a chance, but once I heard someone asking for a promo code, I thought, I know I can find that somewhere.
Good man, appreciate that. So if Tony, you are listening, it's REP 15. So give that a bash. That's good stuff. I'd like to say, Game Pass for me, it's been a lifesaver over the course of the past. I think this is my 4th season with it. In fairness,
I think you said, although you've mentioned you have got tickets to the games, I thought last week you said you weren't going to any, or maybe I'm mixing you up with somebody else.
I can't remember.
Because you said you like to watch your Jets games.
No, I hadn't been to a game. I'd not been to a game yet because I was of the mindset where I don't want to miss my Jets, and then this is the first time that I've gone, I'll go.
Well, I was thinking the Lions Falcons one, you won't miss your Jets game as long as you go back to your hotel or a bar and you've got Wi-Fi, because they're putting it on at 1:30 our time, which is some ridiculously like 10 a.m. Eastern time in the US, and God knows 6 or 5 a.m. on the West Coast.
Yeah, they've got a really early start.
Working for their TV market, but what it means for us is I'm pretty sure 3 hours, 3.5 hours if I've got a lot of entertainment for the game. You'd be finished in enough time to get to a bar or wherever to watch all the late NFL games. So all those people with Game Pass that support other teams will not miss their team that week if they're going to that game, because it's the only game on that early.
Yeah, to be in fairness, you could have about 18 hours of football if you timed it right, because you get that early game, go watch your Game Pass, and then the late game on Sky, and then you'd have the Channel 4 game. You could go
and
wild.
I'm not sure, someone would have to check this out, but I do think there's slightly different rights issues for the IS games because the NFL want to bring it out. And I'm not sure if it happened last year or if it's happening this year, but I'm pretty sure one of the terrestrial channels will show the 3 games that are in the UK live. So I don't know if BBC One or BBC Two's got it, but people might want to check that out.
Channel 4 have got the international games this year.
Yeah, so and they'll be on. So I mean, it's really weird, but good for the kids because I mean that Lions one is so early, 1:30 in the afternoon. You could get a lot of new fans for that if it's on Channel 4. Just tune in, flicking through the channels.
I think that's the sort of idea behind all that, isn't it? Just sort of get a broader reach, really. I mean, they keep saying they want to push it, make it bigger. I've had a variety of rants about like the cost of shirts. I think we touched on that as well last week. For me, if you see someone in a shirt or something you've not seen before, you're more inclined to go up to them and say, "Oh, curiosity, mate, where's that shirt from? What is that?" And then it spawns a whole new conversation, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, there was a big conversation. I don't know because I know you said watch the blue words, but I don't know if your unofficial things that the NFL don't approve. I don't know if you don't want that mentioned on your show or not. But your show last week, because someone else phoned in from my fantasy football league.
Yes,
that they have a Google group. It's set up a chitter chat, and obviously different people have come across different things over time. So one of the guys on there said that his wife works for some kind of Chinese marketing site.
Yeah,
and he went into great detail how many, shall we say, knockoff shirts he's bought.
Yeah,
and he said a lot of them you can very rarely tell the difference, and he's actually under the impression that these firms make the things for Nike or whoever in the daytime, and then after hours just produce them for the secondary market themselves. He's absolutely sure. And he basically listed a website address on there saying, "Man, I've bought loads from here and you can't tell the difference, and you can get them for about £15. Wow. And so I haven't checked that out yet, but I'm definitely going to have a look and maybe try one.
Have a look, and we'll sort of skirt around it. If someone sort of wanted to know, just DM myself or you, just to cover bases.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't like to, deny the NFL, but sometimes I do think they price a lot of new fans and some people. I mean, you can make a profit, and then there's extortionate.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting that way almost with some things now, shirt prices, and as the guy said, wanting to charge too much rights. They say the NFL makes billions. I mean, when's enough?
Yeah, clearly. I don't know. I don't think they even know. They say too much. It sort of ruins things, doesn't it?
I mean, it's weird. I might treat myself to one shirt every 2 seasons because I've never had a stitched one yet. I really want one. But if they were more reasonable cost, as we said last time, I'd like several of my favourite players. And maybe sometimes this thing of when I first 15, 20 years ago started going out to games in the US.
Yeah.
When I went to road games, this was back when I think shirts were about $60 to $80 American when they were brand new from a shop. And not the stitched ones, just the screen printed ones. I used to treat myself because I used to think the colours were really nice. I couldn't see myself wearing a rival team shirt, but it was just like, I guess, the collector in me.
Yeah.
I used to buy at road games the shirt of the player on the opposing team I thought played best in the game I was at live. And I did that collection for a couple of years. And I suppose some of them are worth money now because they've still got the tags on and they've never been worn by me. But I've got like a Merino one in the cupboard.
Nice.
A Jerry Rice when he was with the 49ers.
Nice.
and some quite classic ones, and also some that you've never heard of. Again, I've actually got a Jets one. Curtis Martin it was.
Curtis Martin, legend, yeah.
When I think I went to a Jets game in New York in the old stadium. It was about 2001 sort of time, I'm guessing. So that would have been back then. So he must have played best in that one. But the whole collection stopped one year when, like an idiot, I was in Minneapolis for a game, and Chris Carter absolutely killed the Lions, and he broke a catching record, and they brought his kids on. I thought, right, it has to be a Chris Carter shirt. But at the time, it's different now, but at the time I knew I was going to New York next on my trip.
Yeah.
And having been to New York before, I knew that there was no tax on food and clothes in New York, whereas in Minneapolis, the sales tax, I believe, was quite high, and so was the state tax. So I thought, I'll save $10 or $15. I'll just buy his shirt when I'm in New York. But consequently, of course, I couldn't get it. The shop didn't have one because they have the big ones, but they were sold out. And I didn't worry about it too much. I'll get it off. I wasn't using the internet at the time or whatever. I'll go back, get it. But consequently, he retired end of that season or next season, and there's some sort of rule. I don't know why, but they can't make any more when the player leaves that team or retires. I don't know why. That's what makes them worth money years down the line.
I didn't know that.
But for whatever reason, I never got it. And then because I didn't have his, the collection sort of was not complete, and the prices of shirts went up so much, I ended up stopping doing it. Sometimes I regret it now.
I bet you kick yourself.
Pardon?
I was just saying, I bet you kick yourself for that now. Try and save $50.
Yeah, I wish I had it. But that's why when this guy mentioned this, I'm going to see, well, money talks. I mean, I wonder if they're willing, if they can get material to sort of produce a replica of past players, because apparently they do make some on of past classic players, because people still want them, like Joe Montana and things. So I'm wondering if maybe there is still a way to complete my collection, or with the internet these days, you find people selling second-hand old ones. I don't know why they don't want them anymore, but I'm always searching eBay. If I ever come across a Chris Carter one, maybe I'll start the collection again. But I'd have to go back and actually, now I'd have to read transcripts for some of the games I've been to try and remember who was the best player on the other team, because I've been to so many now where I've been to a Saints game, we got hammered. I can't remember who played best in that one.
You could
in New Orleans and things, but yeah, it was interesting. But as you're saying, I went off track. It's talking about getting little kids. I mean, I can remember back one of the first things that got me into NFL, and I don't know if anybody else listening to this will remember, because when I tell people, everyone says, "Oh, I can't remember that." It's like I was in the Twilight Zone. No one else remembers, but I can't remember how old I was. I just remember when I was going to school, I used to go to the newsagents, and I used to buy this little white and red pack, and it came with some bubble gums and a plastic American football helmet. And you opened the pack and you put like the white face guard on the helmet, and you applied the team stickers, came separately to the side of the helmet, and you could send off for a like cardboard board which you pushed out, and you could hook the helmets on, and you collected back in then. The NFL had 28 teams, and I think that was the first thing that got me into American, because I didn't even know what it was. I just ended up collecting it. I used to go, when I was younger, I used to collect the English football stickers, and then that was like the next thing. I think I must have been about 8 or 9. I remember getting my uncle to drive me round to all newsagents in the local area, because there was one or two I kept getting and buying doubles, kept getting Packer helmets, and I needed like a Houston Oilers one or something to complete the collection. And we were just going round and buying them all up from news. I don't think I ever completed it. I think it was always 1 or 2 short. And as you do, you leave home, and years later you think it's in your mum's loft, and you go, "Mum, I can't find this thing," because now I'm thinking, "Oh, I hoid that out years ago."
Yeah,
oh, great,
like,
cheers.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's worth thousands.
So many
now,
things. I remember once. The biggest thing I regret now is I was a huge fan as a kid of Star Wars, and I had virtually everything. And then I've got 2 younger siblings. It was passed on to them and them. So by the time the youngest one grew up, I think my mum's loft was full of every single thing that Star Wars ever had. I'm not kidding. And one year, I'll never forget it, because my mum didn't know it was just taking up space. She come and met us in the pub once. She goes, "Oh, I've got 15 quid for you, boys. There you go." We're like, "Well, what's that for?" "5 each, get a pint." She goes, "Oh, all that old Star Wars crap that's been taking up room in the loft." She goes, "Some nice man offered to get rid of it for me. He come round, took the lot." She goes, "And I didn't even have to pay him to take it to the tip. He took the lot, and he gave me 15 quid. And we were done. We're like, "Are you kidding?" "Oh, we've seen you coming." And to this day, I regret that. That bloke must have made so much money.
Oh, yeah.
It's
he's probably
unreal.
sat now in his, in a recliner somewhere in a mansion.
Anyway, sorry, that's not about NFL. But
Oh,
it's
no,
just
it's
like,
a great
things
start.
from the past. But people never know it. I mean, it's junk to one person is someone else's gold. And for me, I've got my front room here is just covered in NFL. Probably the biggest thing is you couldn't do it these days with the charges, the airlines charge you.
No, it's the tax and that, isn't it? And
But years ago, 10, 20, when I was first going to the US, they'd let you take 2 or 3 bags with no extra charge back on the planes internationally.
Yeah.
So I used to go out with like 1 bag and come home with the girlfriend at the time with like 3 bags. And I'll never forget my favouriteest thing. It must have cost a couple of $100. It's centrepiece of my front room is you know the Riddell mini helmets.
Yeah.
I bought a display case and all 32 teams helmets come in it. So it was about a couple of $100, and I wrapped that in loads of towels and fitted that in an extra bag and brought it back to the UK and went through the nothing to declare customs, hoping they wouldn't stop me and ask, "What's this? How much is it worth?"
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
but that is now that's probably now my favourite piece actually of collection. So anyway, I'm taking up the time again. I didn't want to, but I hope people do jump on the Game Pass. I so hope the Lions win today. I'm very fearful of the Packers. That was one suggestion I was going to suggest to you for a phone-in show. I just wondered, out of the 32 teams, obviously everyone supports a team, I imagine. So out
Yeah.
of the 31 other teams, I'm interested, who do people love to hate? Is it mostly a division rival? I mean, for me, the team I hate most out of the other 31 is the Packers. It is a division rival, but there's total stories behind it. Everyone thinks Green Bay is this lovely town, and it's full of lovely people, and it is probably the smallest market there is. I do appreciate that. I do like the fact that the fans, in some way, own the team, and people put their kids, as soon as they're born, on a season ticket waiting list.
Yeah.
That is all true. But I've been to Lambeau Field twice. Both times the Lions have lost. And both times I have experienced, I've got sunburnt once and I got frost time. Also, the first time I got socked in the face. I wasn't expecting it by a drunk Packer fan coming out of the stadium after we lost and almost got laid out in the snow. And the other time was only a few years ago, 2012. It was an early season game. It was beautiful, hot sunshine. I'm head to toe in Lions colours with a blown mohawk. And I had a couple of fans.
Oh no, right at the interesting part of the story. You can't do that. That's cruel. What happened? Oh no. No, ring back. That's like the ultimate cliffhanger. No. And you throw me now. I was enthralled by that. Ring back. We need to finish that off. Fancy 5 at 5 is late once again. We're just going to have to call it Fancy News at this point. Had a random message on the Spreaker app. It just says hey. So hey to the Greek Podcasting Network. No, the Geek Podcasting Network. Oh, it's been one of them shows this week. No, ring back. What happened? What happened at the end of that? You've got me now. Everyone's on the edge of the seat. He's here now, hopefully. Oh, I've got 2 numbers ringing. What do I press? Hello?
Sorry about that. I think it went dead.
Yeah. You were just saying you got to like the critical point in your story, then it just cut off.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, these guys were shoving me just because I was a Lions fan. This is before the game, and I couldn't believe it. But the 2 guys I were with were they're ex-Detroit natives, but they now live in Chicago. That's how I had a free place to stay there. And basically, the reason this it's always expensive to stay in Green Bay because there's no hostels, and they put the price up when the team play at home. So, basically, this guy said to me, if you ever go into a Packers game and you can get me a ticket, he said, I think it's drivable. Let me know in advance if you can get me a ticket, and you can stay at mine, for free in Chicago, and we drive there on the day. So that's what we did. So anyway, we've been pre-tailgating at some place a radio station put on, but my friends were kind of almost in civvies. Under their jackets they had, because I think they're Michigan State fans, they had Michigan t-shirts on, but you didn't really notice. So as we're walking to the ground, I'm a little bit in front, these guys start shoving me and wanting to give it, and my friend's friend, he's built like a linebacker. He's a huge 6-foot black guy. He works on the railways, does maintenance for Amtrak and things. So he's got muscles. So this guy was shoving me. He gets a tap on the shoulder, and the guy, one-handed, lifts him off the ground, and he's like, you got a problem with my friend? And as he picks him up, his jacket's not zipped, so it sort of falls open, and he can see it says Michigan State. And his other mate's sort of tapping him on the arm, saying, no, we didn't mean nothing, put him down, and they toddle off. And I'm like, you can be my bodyguard. I've heard Oakland's pretty rough as well. I've never been there yet. Do you want to come to that Lions game with me?
Oh, dear.
So that was the end of that. But so that's the team I love to hate, and I'm just interested, and maybe I'll read on your Twitter feed who other people hate, and if they could put the team they support in brackets, just so I know what the connection is.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so go and do that. Yeah, Twitter, Zone Coverage FS, your team you love to hate. For me, it'd have to be the Dolphins for that fake spike nonsense.
Oh, that was one of the best games I ever saw on terrestrial TV, and it frustrated the hell out of me. I remember once watching, I think it was Channel 5, and the game went to overtime, and it went on so long that, and they said, we're going to come back and give you the end of it after the news, and they never did. And then they had to, due to so many people writing in, I think they put it on a week later or something. Do you remember that one?
I remember all that, yeah.
Was it the Jets that came back in that game, or was it the Dolphins? But I know one team got out to a big lead, and then I've never seen anything like it. The other team just sort of came back.
It was. I think that might have been the Monday Night Miracle.
Yeah,
that was the Monday Night Miracle game. Yeah,
I remember that was on. I remember staying up to watch that, and I remember staying up because it was just so good. And then for them to say, right, we've got to break away for the news, we're coming back, and they never did it. Went to kids' morning cartoon programs, what have you, and you had to wait for I think it was back in those days. It wasn't even the internet I had. I had to buy First Down to find out who won.
Yeah, First Down. I used to read that religiously myself.
I loved it. And the last thing I wanted to say is, I know I'm a grown man, but even I would collect them. After all the euphoria of people collecting World Cup stickers with their kids, for the World Cup, I know for the last several years, Panini in the US, Canada and Mexico has done NFL collections. I think if they launched that here, it would be a great way for 40-year-olds like me. I have no kids, but I've got nephews, to get their younger kids interested in the NFL by collecting stickers.
Definitely. It'd be roles reversed. It'd be you driving round to all these other shops with your nephews and not looking for stickers.
Exactly. If I could, anything that can get them into the NFL is great by me.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Also, it's an excuse to be able to collect them myself because you need someone to swap with, don't you?
Yeah,
so I'll do you a favour.
Oh, that'd be good. And then it could spawn like this big sticker swapping contest. You could ring in. I've got number 57. I need a 52 and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just trying to convince the NFL. Like, I guess Panini don't think they'd make enough selling it here, but I thought with the IS games and things, they could advertise. I'm sure they could sell it. I know they'd never sell as many as they did for the Brazilian World Cup, but I'm sure they could sell enough to make money. Yeah,
that's a good idea. That'd be
they already print them and make them in the US, so I can't. I mean, everything's already there. I just guess they just need to, send the pictures and the things over to there, because Panini's in America. Panini's from Italy originally. Panini's been here they must have printing places in Ireland and England already. I mean, it's just a question of launching that collection.
Yeah, it's either that or 2 suitcases for you on your next trip.
Maybe. Anyway, I'm going to ring off because I was determined not to phone in this week because I didn't want to dominate your airwaves. Sorry, I did that.
For me, you can ring any time. You can speak for the full 90 minutes, anything. It probably gives people a bit more entertainment than what I was giving out the first half an hour. I was all over the place today, in fairness.
Oh, no, well, I'll tell you what, in future shows, I mean, I'm envious. I want to talk to you sometime about how you do it all, because I'm not a technical person.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline about that, because I love what you're doing, and I just hope other people and more people jump on.
Yeah, drop me a DM, and I'll pass on my phone number, and we'll have a chit-chat off air then. I'll be happy to do that. That'd be great.
All right, well, keep the show going. I'm going to go and just check my lineups now to make sure I haven't got any last minute.
Yeah, I need to do that as well at some point. Brilliant, Noel.
Cheerio,
as always, buddy. I appreciate the call, interest, and everything that you've been doing, and for the code as well for everyone.
Cool.
Thanks very much, buddy. Enjoy your Sunday. Catch you later.
Yeah, go Lions.
Yeah. Nice. See you later, buddy.
Bye.
Fantastic stuff. We did get to the end of the show there. I think there was Martin trying to ring in. Don't worry, we'll just keep rolling today. Sorry, why not? Martin, if you are around, we'll get to the fantasy news, the not so great 8 feature. Where was I? If I'll reel these off quickly before the phone rings again. I think I got to the NFC East. I went with the Giants. Yes, that was correct. The NFC North, another non-mover here. Sadly, it's the Vikings, all the firepower in their division. I've touched on that a few times. The NFC South, non-mover here as well. I went with the Bucks, and sorry, Bucks fans, but I did say this on the very first show that I was not a believer in what they were doing. A lot of pressure on the new receiver, Mike Evans and Austin Seferian-Jenkins that they're putting on there. Josh McCown as well coming in. Yes, he had 5 or 6 very, very good games, but really, it's not going so well. The O-line is an absolute shambles. Who's got the worst O-line, the Bucks or the Jags? That could be an interesting topic there. And then the NFC West, again, no mover here. We stay with the Rams. Despite the win the other week over the Bucks, but the Rams are just poor at the moment, which with that defense, really, you'd think they'd be scraping out some wins, but never mind. And by the way, 49ers, you're on notice. If Colin Kaepernick has a game like that as he did last week, you might replace the Rams going forward. So what do we have coming up? There's about 12 minutes left of the show. I know Tom was going to ring from No Huddle. Martin, I did see a number pop up. I think he was trying to get through on the show to give out the fantasy advice. I will check in on Twitter. Hopefully everyone is scrambling around for the various things. Tom's texted me and said he's ready whenever. Just give me a couple of minutes, Tom. I'll see if Martin can ring. I'll try and drop Martin a message. I'm not sure what's gone on there. A bit going on. I've got 20 notifications on Twitter, so I'll just try and read through those quickly. There's a lot of banter going on here. Fourth down, missed my win. Oh yeah, Martin has he's messaged me to apologise. Missed the window. We were chatting away with Noel. He's been called out on a family do. So we skipped fantasy advice for this week. So Tom, if you are listening, feel free, just give us a bell and we'll get the news going whenever you want. Also, yes, Martin, he remembers the mini helmets and the little wooden jerseys and the top scarred with the bubble gum. So Martin, Noel, you guys get in touch there. I will retweet a few of these as we go. So yeah, that's fantastic. Yes, the Game Pass code, I'll retweet that now for that. Was REP 15% off. So we've got that going. So fantastic, the good old Mega Drive's been mentioned and everything. So there should be Tom now. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Oh, a bit flustered today, bizarrely.
Yeah. I heard. I mean, it's been a busy day for you today.
Yeah, I was worried at first. We went half an hour or so. It was very quiet. Last week was madness, and then this week we've sort of it's been a slow burner.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually the way it always goes towards the end, doesn't it? So,
yeah, it always does, but we haven't got to sign off at an exact certain time, so if we spill over, it's all good.
Well, that's a good thing, I suppose. I mean, I've obviously been keeping an eye on the news and stuff, so I've got plenty of news for you from around various different games today, so we'll crack on with that whenever you're ready, and hopefully might be bringing you the news from Wembley next week.
Yes, we did swap text earlier. That'd be good. So I do believe you should have, is it press passes for that?
Yeah, I mean, we get press passes through. So, I mean, hopefully those should all be confirmed this week and I should be up there. I mean, the unfortunate thing is we might be in the middle of Def Leppard when we're doing this. So, people might have to bear with us with a bit of background noise from you guys.
It'll add to the ambience of the show anyway.
We don't care. We don't care about them. We just want the news and the roundup from all the games.
Well, this is it. And to be fair, if people can cope with 90 minutes of me just rambling on, I'm sure a bit of Def Leppard won't go down too badly.
I think it's Def Leppard who are the pre-game show. Anyway, I don't pay too much attention to the pre-game stuff. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm more interested in the nitty-gritty once it gets down to that stuff.
Likewise, I agree with you on that. How have you been anyway? Because it's been a week or two since we've actually spoke. All good your end?
Yeah, everything's going well. I mean, we're just cracking on with things here towards the issue coming out at the end of this month. We're going to be previewing the Lions and Falcons game in that. I mean, last week I was away, so I wasn't able to call in and give you some news roundup. But yeah, everything's good my end, and just chaos trying to sort everything out to fit everything in with these various international games that are coming up.
I can imagine. It's crazy, and it's crazy for me just setting up this. To be fair, I don't envy the stuff that you have to do.
That our competition ends today, and it's just craziness.
Yeah, just getting all that sorted and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky enough to get hold of that Vikings and Steelers International Series game ball from Football America. So, I mean, that's been quite popular. I mean, we're giving a jersey away and a couple of other balls as well. So there's still time to get on that, actually. For anyone who's listening, you've got 6 hours, 38 minutes to be involved in that.
Yeah, I'll get that retweeted as well.
Get over to our website and that, and if you sign up for a season pass today, not only do you get the 6 issues of Huddle magazine for the season for the price of 5, but you get entry into that draw as well, so an opportunity.
Great stuff. So get over to Huddle magazine then, get all that done, enter the comp and get your discounts and everything. That's good stuff.
As I say, I mean, I'll jump straight in with the news if you'd like me to.
Yeah, I need to make some sort of sounder for you, in all fairness. I will get to that, because we're going, as I did say, I don't know if you caught it, it's a copycat league, so we're going no huddle with you guys being Huddle magazine, so this is no huddle, the hurry up on the news.
Yeah, cool. Like you say, it needs some kind of soundy intro to make it.
Yeah, it does. I need something. What do you prefer? Something funky, something cheesy, a mix, or just anything?
It's your show, mate. You go for it. You go for whatever you think sounds good.
Yeah, leaving me to my own devices is usually not a good idea. In fairness.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I'll leave that down to you.
Right then, I'll see what I can come up with. I'll see what I can come up with there. Right, I'm just making a mental. If I don't make a note of stuff, mate, I'll forget everything.
Mate, I'm the same. I've got to-do lists all the time.
To-do list and reminders going off, and yeah,
I carry about the most girliest notebook going around, but it's a notebook that my missus got for me. I asked her to go out and buy me a notebook a few months back so that I could keep track of things, and she come back with the most girliest notebook possible. So I carry that around and keep all my notes in that. If I don't do that, then chaos would reign. There'd be absolutely nothing happening ever in the office.
I've got a piece of software for you that'll do you the world of good. You can sync it to your laptop, your iPhone. If you go for a thing called Evernote, it's free. Sign up for. I can tap something on my phone. Say I'm at work, catch a bit of news, come home, sync it to my laptop. It's all there, and for me show notes and everything. That if anyone's got any sort of thing, that Evernote, that's highly recommended.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to have a look at that because, like I say, I walk around with my bag, and I mean, if you do end up joining me Atlanta and Detroit, you'll see I'm always walking around with my bag with Huddle magazine on, and I carry around the most girly notepad going. So it's just one of them things that I think once the pages of that notepad run out,
I need a T-shirt that says "Look at my mate's girly notepad."
Basically, I'm sure the whole of the press attending that game will love every minute of me getting my girly notepad.
Yeah, that could be very interesting.
Cool. I mean, news-wise, then, I mean, actually, we've had a bit of a scoop today over at Huddle magazine.
All right.
We were the first to break that Arian Foster is out today in the Texans-Giants game. He won't play. We broke that about 3 o'clock or something like that. And I mean, even NFL Network only just broke it at about 4:45. So great in terms of our network of sources for what we're doing. But I mean, Arian Foster's out today, and rookie Alfred Blue will take his snaps and step in. From the Giants side of things, I mean, they've yet to create a turnover on defense. And they're basically concentrating on stopping the run and creating turnovers. That's the coach's message that says that they'll define the game. And Antrell Rolls come out and said that it's a must-win at all costs game for them today. So lots going on in the Texans at Giants. And like I say, we've come out with a bit of a scoop today, so I'm really happy about that from a personal point of view.
Yeah, great stuff.
Ravens-Browns. Everyone's expecting me to talk about some tiny little kid playing quarterback probably, but I mean, we won't go there. The real piece of news in that game is that running back Bernard Pierce is 95% likely to play.
All right.
Unlikely to play. Sorry.
Unlikely. Yeah.
His thigh injury is going to keep him out, and Justin Forsett will carry most of his load. So, I mean, there's only a 5% likelihood he'll play. I don't think we'll see him today. So, if you've got him in your fantasy, probably you haven't, in all honesty, given how his injuries progressed through the week. And he's a sit, definitely. Let's have a look. See, Cowboys at Rams. The Cowboys, Romo, set out practice during the week, but Scott Linehan has said that that's something that you're going to see quite a bit of through the season. He is fine. They're just trying to ensure that with his back injury and, coming off the surgery, that they just don't push him a bit too hard and cause problems. So that's kind of where he's at with that. Des Bryant's questionable. He said Thursday, though, that his shoulder was still sore, but he will be ready for today, so likely that he'll play some part.
I was going to say, he's been drinking enough fluids, and he's not dehydrated again.
As I say, his shoulder was a bit sore Thursday, apparently, but he did say he'd be ready to go today, so there's every chance that he should play.
Yeah.
And apparently the Cowboys lead the NFL in rushing, and the last time that actually happened was after Week 9 of 1999.
Wow.
So it's been a long time, and it was the great Emmitt Smith that led the NFL in rushing at that stage. So, big week for them to continue that as they visit St. Louis, and I mean, that should be quite interesting for them.
DeMarco Murray against that Rams front.
I think DeMarco Murray could fare pretty well So, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I've got him in my fantasy team today, so...
Yeah, especially like you say with, I think they're sort of easing Romo in slightly.
Yeah,
and then,
this is it.
Yeah,
so, they're trying to focus on the part that Romo will play more of. He's not going to be the be-all and end-all of the offense. He's going to be more of a cog in a bigger wheel. So
yeah, and then they'll just do this, ease him, and then they'll just blow the doors off someone one week. You can see it coming.
I think that's going to be the case,
yeah.
And I don't think St. Louis will be that case today. But as you say, further down the line, that could well be the case. Moving on, who should we look at next? Skins and Eagles, big divisional matchup there. Looking back to RG3's injury that my Jaguars inflicted on him last week, he's looking at about 6 to 8 weeks in his cast. So they're then saying maybe a further 10 days after that for him to just do a bit of physio before his return. Basically, that's taking them to their bye week. So
yeah,
that's going to be a long old way for them. I think it's week 10 their bye week. I remember hearing earlier. In terms of Deshaun Jackson's status to play against his old team, he's got a shoulder injury. Apparently he's playing today and he'll have some involvement, but as of coming on to the phone to you, he's not actually been out and warmed up yet, even though the rest of the Redskins team are out warming up. So how much to read from that, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bit of mind games on his part, trying to fool Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I think we'll see something of Deshaun Jackson today, and I mean whether he can link up with Kirk Cousins is going to be a different story altogether. I mean, there's just not going to be that synergy that there is between him and RG3 that they've gained through all that practice and all those reps that they've had in training camp and so forth. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Regards the Eagles' offense, I mean, it's been quite. When you actually look at it, it's been quite spread around in terms of the way they've done things. I mean, Darren Sproles has had 3 more receptions than Jeremy Maclin so far this season, and they're basically saying that this is going to be an equal opportunities offense in terms of distribution of the football through the air. So, who knows where Philadelphia are going to throw the ball today, here, there, and everywhere, pretty much from the sound of it.
Yeah, I saw an interesting article. No, actually, it was a podcast, the Move the Sticks podcast with LaDainian Tomlinson. He was on that, and he was on about Chip Kelly's offense and saying, imagine him in that, how good LT was. Yeah,
I mean, he'd have been immense.
It would have been scary.
I mean, in terms of the Eagles haven't been 3-0 since 2004, which was their Super Bowl season. So a win against the Skins today could be, again, another big sign from them.
I don't think it's going to be that easy for the Eagles today. I see it being a really tight game.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think a lot's been made of the Eagles and how I think the Redskins are going to come out fighting today. Yeah. And I mean, Cousins certainly showed last week he's capable of running that offense. So I don't expect them to be any walkover today.
Yeah. Foles has been far from perfect in my eyes as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's already thrown 4 turnovers this season, which, that's his total turnovers for the whole of last season. So defenses have certainly got a number on him. They certainly know what they're doing. I mean, as I say, I just think he had his season last season where defensive coordinators weren't quite ready for him. I think they've got enough tape. They know his tendencies, and I think they're just sort of catching up with him, or they've even caught up with him now. So, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to have a good game on their hands today. I think the Skins will give them a good go.
I agree with that, mate. It should be an interesting game. Most of these fixtures today, it's hard to pick, really.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings at the Saints is my next one that I've looked at. Obviously, we know what's going on with AP there. I'm not going to dwell on that too much. I mean, Mike Zimmer's just come out and said, really, in the week, all he's done is just try to change things up in the practice. Including moving periods of practice around. He's played music in practice, and he sat the players down and told them to continue what they're doing, play within their own abilities. And he said, we've got the players here to win. He's got experience of dealing with controversy in Cincy, Atlanta, and Dallas. So, he's kind of used to that sort of stuff. So he's kind of a gift horse in terms of managing him through that process. So that should be good for the Vikings. From the Saints side of things, been very quiet today. Sean Payton says that he's got the best team that he's seen from the Saints in years, but that's about all that's come out of the Saints today.
I was thinking myself, looking back now, I've not seen hardly anything really, considering they've had a bit of an iffy start. There's little.
I mean, there's not been a great deal coming out of the Saints today. No. So, in terms of what's going on down there in New Orleans, they're keeping their cards close to their chest right now. So, we'll see how that pans out. The Chiefs, your favourite team, the Dolphins. Basically, just Jamal Charles really is the big news there. He's a game-time decision. They're not saying that it's a high ankle sprain. They're actually saying it's more of a bruise than a high ankle sprain there. And they reckon that gives him a real chance to play today, but he's going to be a game-time decision.
Yeah, he's going to share the load, isn't he, in all fairness?
Yeah, this is it. He's probably going to play some, but not a lot. So, again, that's possibly, having missed the fantasy out this week, that's something you maybe want to look at in your fantasy team. You've got kind of 25 minutes to do that. Packers-Lions, as your man before me was talking about, I'm a big Lions fan. I mean, defensive end Jason Jones has said that the Lions defense is fast, aggressive and more disciplined under the new regime, and that they're going to focus on keeping Aaron Rodgers in the pocket while applying pressure, and that's the key to their game plan. On the other side of the Packers defense, linebacker AJ Hawk has said that they've got enough to stop the run early and contain the weaponry on the Lions team. So, big talk from both defenses.
I was going to say that's debatable both ends, and it's interesting that both these are coming out because they clearly are picking up what everyone else is getting at, that's deemed the weaker link on either team. So
this is it. I mean, everybody's saying it's going to be an offensive shootout. So, I just thought I'd pick up on some news from the defensive side of the ball.
It's going to be 10-7, isn't
it? I just thought I'd give you the other side of the game and see what the guys are saying from the D. And they're clearly confident, but we'll see how that pans out when they actually get to playing. In New England, apparently Tom Brady's ranked 23rd in yards per game entering this game, and the Raiders have allowed more than 200 yards in each of their games, so this is a good opportunity for him to get back on track. Maurice Jones-Drew's out today with a hand injury, and Matt Sharp has left the team today due to his wife's emergency surgery relating to pregnancy, so he won't be available today either. So, I mean, I don't think that's any great loss to the Raiders, to be perfectly honest, in terms of Sharp. Jones-Drew, this kind of happens with him through the course of a season, as I know, as a Jaguars fan. The big news coming out of that game, actually, is that Raiders sources are saying that Dennis Allen's job security is tenuous and that Tony Sperano is a possible replacement for him. NFL Network actually talking about the fact that Dennis Allen may be still in charge for next week's game, and then during the bye week they'll get rid of him and replace him. So, I mean, the rumours are already afloating about Dennis Allen's job security. And I mean, considering prior to the season, he's been quoted, as I said to you a few weeks back, that Matt Schaub is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, I'd have probably sacked him then if I was the owner.
Yeah, he did paint a rather bizarre picture, and just for Raiders fans, really, it sort of got a raw deal from him. Yeah, I understand that he put certain certain positive stuff out there and sort of like get some anticipation and excitement going, but he was just spewing nonsense out, really.
He took it too far. I mean, with that quote particularly with Matt Schaub, if there's ever a signal that someone's gone insane and needs to go to the asylum, that's kind of it. And I think I'd have relieved him of his duties there, and then I'd have took him away from the media and said, meet our new head coach and brought someone else in, kind of thing, because that's absolute craziness to put that quote out there. And I think, there's a lot of talk, particularly on NFL Network, focusing on next week's trip to London and saying that they're probably going to leave him to manage the process through that London game, and then they've got that bye week for someone to come in and make the changes.
Yeah, so, that makes sense there. And
I mean, whether I'll be at Dennis Allen's press conference on Friday or whether I'll be at somebody else's is a different story. It depends how the owner's thinking is compared to NFL Networks, I suppose. But
yeah, it's probably going to... The sensible option there would be, like you say, they've got to get the flight over and all that, just leave it and then sort out afterwards. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would imagine... it will be Dennis Allen that I'll be seeing come this Friday, giving his press conference down in London after practice. But I mean, who knows? Football's a crazy old game, so anything could happen in the next few hours, let alone days. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, that's kind of fresh breaking news. That is, and as I say, that's the quote: "His job security is tenuous." And Tony Sperano being touted around as the name. And I mean, my final game where I've got some news is Broncos at Seahawks, the much anticipated replay of the Super Bowl. On the Broncos side of the ball, Wes Welker will play today, and he'll kind of come in slower than normal. You're not going to see him play as many reps, and he's not going to probably be as explosive as usual, kind of getting him back to full fitness. Trevathan could return, but is listed as questionable. And in terms of the Seahawks, they've not dropped to back-to-back losses since Russell Wilson was a rookie, and both of those two losses were on the road. So after last week's loss, they're kind of confident of bouncing back this week and coming back with a win against the Broncos. So, you know, that's kind of everything I've got for you in terms of news.
No, I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, it keeps everyone up to date as we head towards kick-off in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need to go away and fire about your fantasy team.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, I've been doing that as I've been going along collecting the news and stuff. So, I mean, for me, I'm quite up to date. But I was trying to get some information on Cordell Patterson's situation in terms of his probability to play. He's listed as probable. So, I mean, that sort of answers one of the questions for my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So.
I'm at it'd be mic off, full on panic mode.
So, as I say, that's everything from me, mate. And I know we've run over quite a bit at this moment in time, so just appreciate you giving me a chance to come on and promote my wares as well as give you the news.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Anytime. With that, I shall sort of wrap it up briefly as we tend to do at the end of our chats, and I'll.
Okay, mate.
We'll play.
I'm sure I'll speak to you during the week once I know some more information and stuff. So I'll give you a text or a shout during the week.
Yeah, say give me 20 minutes, half an hour, and I'll drop you a text anyway.
Yeah, good man. Okay, and thanks to all the listeners just for listening to my prattling and the information that's getting out there. So thanks for having me on again, and I'll see you all next week.
Anytime. Appreciate that, Tom. Take care, mate.
Cheerio. Bye.
Bye. And that was Tom from Huddle Magazine. Yeah, Tom's going to be a regular fixture on the show. We're going to go no huddle, just bring a bit of like up-to-date news that sort of happened whilst I've been on air, because I can't really put a show together as it is, never mind rumble through the internet whilst actually broadcasting. So right then, we are 10 minutes over. We might as well just push it till quarter two and wrap things up. The Love Line feature, we'll sort of pass those on to next week. The Fantasy 5 at 5 sort of went away today. That was mainly due to us. The phone lines got busy and calls were taken there, and Martin's a busy day for Martin, really. So Martin does send his apologies, and Martin, don't worry, mate. It's fine. Things happen. Life takes over and stuff. So yeah, I will recommend you go and check out their podcast at Dundee NFL, and it's Fourth Down and Out podcast. So please go and check that out. I've been retweeting it. It's a great listen. So they get loads of fantasy advice and send you fantasy questions to those guys as well. Tom at Huddle Magazine, huddlemagazine.com there. Sign up for your chance to win that Steelers ball that you got from Football America. So please go and do that. What shall we do now? I don't really know. I'm at a loss today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Right, we'll do a quick recap. Tune in, Spreaker apps, you know all that by now, so just go back, listen to them, subscribe in advance, retweeting any sort of forums, sites, Facebook pages, just share, like what we're doing here. And if you want to get in touch with the show, Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. If you want to send me an email, feel free to do so. That is Zone Coverage Football Show at mail.com. Just talk about whatever you want. On that sort of front, iTunes, Stitcher, iTunes, Stitcher, please subscribe and leave feedback there. Subscribe and feedback, yes, go and do that there. I think that covers just about every base possible. I do believe so. A few mentions from the guys that have been doing fantastic work regards to the show. Before that, massive shout out to Biff, Tony P, Noel for ringing in on the show, and everyone that's tweeted. I must have about 40 odd notifications, and the numbers for last week, I think we doubled pretty much what I'd been doing beforehand. So we'd gone from 2 to 4 to 8 listeners. So yeah, keep up the good work there. The guys I want to give a mention to: John Cartwright, John McDonald, Adam Nichols, Tom Marshall, Junaid Hussain, The Kicker's Good, Mark Blaney, Brett Lovedale. He actually tweeted a picture of Jerry Jones and a cheerleader last week, which is very funny. Adam Ward, there was Noel at Blue Lion, Biff is at Biff Rujet, Tony Peckham as Acoustic TP. The code for the Game Pass was REP15. And before we go, in case you don't know, fixtures this week: Bucks at Falcons, Chargers Bills, Cowboys Rams, Redskins Eagles, Texans Giants, Vikings Saints, Titans Bengals. We got the Ravens Browns, Packers Lions is your game on Sky in 20 odd minutes time, 15 minutes time. Wow. That's your 6 o'clock game on Sky. Then you've got Colts, Jags, Raiders, Pats, 49ers, Cards. Big upset, I feel there. Broncos at Seahawks is your 9:25 game, also available on Sky. Chiefs, Dolphins. The late game is the Steelers at Panthers. That's on Channel 4, 1:30 in the morning. Yeah, tonight, Sunday night, Monday morning, whichever way you look at things there. And then the Monday night comedy show rolls into town with Jay Cutler's Chicago Bears against my Jets, and that is on Eurosport again at 1:30 kickoff there Monday night, Tuesday morning, however you look at that again. So that sort of wraps up the show today. My end, I've been a bit flustered, and it's hard at times, as you'll gather, to get certain things out without dropping F-bombs and saying things that will land me in hot water with certain aspects of stuff. Not that I envision the NFL actually listening to my little show, but you never know, someone might get hold of it somewhere along the line. So it's been a bit hit and miss, a bit sketchy. That's why I don't sort of skating around certain topics. Again, a massive thank you to everyone that's been spreading the word. The show keeps growing and it's fantastic stuff. So go subscribe, listen, whatever it is that you do. You know social media now. Just spread the word. Keep doing that, and as always, thank you again for tuning in, and we shall see you next Sunday. And the next Sunday, heads up, by the way, for the hot route, if you're at the game, I'm going to want you ringing in, tweeting pictures and all that, so and we'll discuss about the UK franchise. So if you've got any thoughts on emails you want to email in, that is zonecoveragefootballshow@mail.com. Your thoughts on that, I will happily read those out if that's okay with yourselves, and we'll sort of get like a portfolio for and against, sort of get some form of debate going on that, the good points and the bads and everything. So that is that out of the way. That is next week sort of lined up. Say we should get to the fantasy stuff next week, and hopefully the Love Line 2-3 hour show. Anyone? Anyway, right, I'm off. I best go for the last minute scramble to get my fantasy teams in order and possibly eat a burnt dinner. So with that in mind, again, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure as always. And remember, hustle, hit, and never quit.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Unable to listen live? We've got that covered. Simply search the Zone Coverage Football Show in either iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And don't forget to subscribe. All our shows and details on how to call into the show can be found on the website, www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com.